Hello, good evening, and a very warm welcome to Rangers Radio. Hello, good evening, and welcome to Rangers Radio. Joining myself, Southside, on the show this evening is AK and Albert. How are you, AK?
Evening Southside, evening Albert, evening Rangers Radio listeners.
Albert?
I'm good, mate. How are yourselves?
Aye, no bad, mate, no bad. Seems to be a long week this week, didn't it? Leading up to Saturday.
lot of technical things to talk about in football terms, not anyway, we'll talk about it later.
Aye, there's a few things, obviously, we've got. There's probably a wee bit of the audio that's come out for VAR. Ibrox 125 years tomorrow, game against Dundee. And anything else that you want to talk about Rangers, AK, anybody's welcome to come on and give us their thoughts.
Aye, absolutely, mate. That's what it's there for, but it's a countdown to Christmas as well. Santa will not be long before he's emptying his sack, Albert.
Oh, well. You can keep that to yourself. I don't want to know about that. That must be the Celtic Santa.
Anyway, I'll tell you today, because we're going to open the phone lines early tonight. I've cut the manager's interview done because it's about 15 minutes or something, and we're just going to do a wee quick first half. The manager's about 5 minutes long, and we'll hear what they was asked today at the press conference, and then we can discuss it. I'd also like to give a shout out to everybody out there on our YouTube channel, who's all the faithful troops that's on every night. Say hello to them. And if you two guys don't mind, we'll go on to mute and we'll hear what the manager had to say today.
Philippe, a few days on, how do you look back on Hampden and everything that went into that day?
That my team played really well, that they were strong. Short time after the Tottenham game, where they played also really well, that my team made showed massive physicality also in that way. We hit really high numbers in the two games, so those things are to continue. Of course, the days after, it hurted really a lot for everybody in the club, players, staff, fans, board, everybody involved, because the situation that how everything happened. So you guys had a lot of filling papers with that the last week. It's now for us important. It's hard because you feel after the game that the rules of the game are not followed, and with there's a lot of times a grey area in decision making. In this time, it was totally no clear grey area. That's very clear for everybody after the game. That's been discussed by everybody, and there's nobody in the world who has another view on that. It's been good that there was transparency from Willie Collum and openness and honesty about what happened and about his idea also about the situation, what was really clear. He was really clear about that. It doesn't help in the end for the result, because it's a game decisive moment, but we appreciate the honesty for sure. And everybody in the club hopes that Willie is not alone in his fight to get standards better, but that everybody also at the top of the SFA also have the same ambition to make things better, that these things cannot happen, because it's not only for Rangers or for every team losing a game like that, but it's also for Scottish football really bad advertisement. And all of Europe have been talking about that, about what happened in this final. And that's a pity, because it was two good teams playing a good game of football with everything that every fan wants into a game, with the quality, with the intensity, with the will, with the relentlessness, with everything inside. And there's been much more talks about the game decisive moment in that way. So that's a pity for Scottish football.
How do you handle this now as the football manager? Because fans can get upset and say that the acknowledgement is not enough, but how do you take it forward from here?
Yeah, that's normal, and it's also really difficult to accept that. But for us, it's now really important to put that embed in our heads, to stop thinking about it, because we have tomorrow a very important game against Dundee, and that's what I spoke with the players also about this week. You cannot keep on thinking about that, what happened. We need to focus now on what we've been doing, and to do that in the game against Dundee and taking the 3 points, and we need to focus on that. We don't have the luxury that other people have to stay in that moment. Fans have. They have this opportunity. They can do that. But I hope also that they see how much this team is working, what they are doing on the pitch, and to support them like they've been doing brilliantly in these last couple of games. And that doesn't change because what happened in the final. So we need to continue in that way.
So you would rather the players forget about it rather than use the feeling of injustice as some sort of motivation?
Yeah, but we don't need motivation out of negativity. Yeah, we want to win games, we want to win trophies. And we were the team who created the most chances in the game, and we were the team who should have had a penalty. That's a lot in a cup final. So normally you win then at the end, most of the times. You never have guarantees in football. That's why everybody loves the game of football also, that there are no certainties about things. But in that way, I cannot ask more of the players. I will ask more the next couple of months, because we need to raise the bar every time, because they're not at their top yet. Cannot be with the new squad. But we need to now focus on Dundee and not looking back anymore. So I told them on Wednesday they need to put a point behind that game and to look forward, and we trained also in that way to prepare the game of Dundee really well. So that's what they've been doing. Of course, this moment will stay for the rest of our lives in our head, in the back of our head, what happened. But we need to focus now on what's now.
Gordon mentioned there that for fans this might not be enough. Willie Collum's acknowledgement that it was the wrong decision, it was unacceptable. Is it enough for you?
What I said, it's my job to get my team ready for tomorrow for the game. So that's my job to do also in the club in that way. My full focus is on that. There are other peoples with other responsibilities in the club, and they're doing their best also to do the things right for the club. So I'm totally focused on Dundee now. If I'm not doing that, then I do my job not in the correct way.
Why don't you give us a call on 0141 356 1972. It's your show, it's your platform. Let's hear from you.
Aye, well, AK, I'll come at you first, because I think Albert had about 4 pages or something like that, so I'll see if you can cut it down to just maybe a page.
He's through training him out then.
He's got pages and pages, but I'll come to you first, AK. Obviously, I think that's what was going to dominate the press conference at the start today, what they were asking him, and what's your thoughts on it since you've heard the audio and stuff?
It's quite predictable for the gaffer, to be honest with you. I mean, it's something for the club to consider now rather than his position as a football manager. He's got to concentrate on the team efforts now, and he's quite right in saying it. He say, listen, what's done's done. The aim is football players and manager that's got to concentrate on the next game in hand, so that's where their mindset is focused on, the Dundee game tomorrow. But the board might have something else to do with it, because it's been proved factual now. And Willie Collins came out and admitted that 100% that should have been a penalty. So it's what they want to do about it now, whether they want to take it further with the SFA, with Willie Collins, with referees in general. How do we make sure that this doesn't happen again and things like that? So I think Clement was kind of speaking sense. It's a game that was viewed worldwide, because Rangers and Celtic have got supporters worldwide. she's right in saying that as well. It's a talkative subject. It's controversial. That's all the things are factors, but in general, the manager of Glasgow Rangers has got to focus on the next game in hand, which is Dundee at Ibrox tomorrow.
Aye, there's a lot. There's no many our officials in the last good number of years, Albert, that's been officiating at World Cups or European Championships. Standards definitely went down. We had a few. Dallas done it. I remember, but for him onwards, there's been nobody really in Scotland that's been going forward. They've done some European games, but it's coming to the crunch games and that. There's no many of them ever been selected. There's a reason why, because they're rotten.
They're not only rotten, mate. They're no fair and impartial. That's and the rest of the world see it, mate. We know it. We're at the end of it most of the time, but there's other clubs in Scotland getting it as well as us. But we seem to be the butt of it all the time, doormat for Scottish football. Which I'm sick of, which is not going to happen anymore, mate. Done with this. Now, the penalty itself, forget talking about it, mate. It's a penalty. We all know it's a penalty. The whole world knows it's a penalty. You know what I mean? Everybody that looked at it, apart from a certain group of fans, know it's a penalty. It's a Stonewall penalty. But Big Alex right about what is next. That's what we're worrying about now. What's next, mate? It's all right to say, oh, we'll need to learn for this. They'll not learn for it unless they understand what went on in that bar room. And what went on, in my opinion, in that bar room, if you listen to that audio, is a Celtic supporter, Frank Connor, shouting, it's not a penalty. He's shouting like a supporter because he doesn't want a penalty game against his team. Now, how he's in that box and refereeing a Celtic game is unbelievable, mate, because he is a Celtic supporter. That's without doubt, mate. Nobody's going to tell me any different. And if they want proof it, we've got proof it if you so require. But that's what he is. He's a Celtic supporter, and that's why he shouted that. And that's why Muir's followed it. Now, I know Muir's not a Rangers fan either. I don't know what he is, but he's definitely not a friend of Rangers, let's say it that way. Not that we want friends. We just want this fair and square. We don't want any favours off anybody. We don't want referees to bend out towards us. We're just wanting a fair, even playing field to play football in. Best team wins at the end of the day, and that'll do us. We're happy with that. Now, we've got a problem now in Scotland. This is just the highlight. Because Connor, he's got history, mate. There's no doubt about it. The man is cheating. There's no doubt. So he's got history. So that's him done. But the rest of the referees, they have a look at themselves. Now, there's other Celtic supporter referees out there as well, and we all know them, right? We've also got our so-called Rangers supporter in Beaton, right? I think that's a given. He's a Rangers supporter. He books 8 Rangers players on Sunday. 8, mate. That's if you had 16-man selection out of that game. He's booked half of our team, mate. Right. So you look at that and going, the reason he's a cheat now and all is because he's terrified to give decisions against him, as a lot of referees are, for various reasons. What's happening in history with Windies getting panned in and families getting threatened and kids getting threatened. It's all happened, mate. It's all been there. We all know it. Detectives hired and looked at people's private life and all this nonsense. It's happened, mate. We're not talking daft here. It's actually happened. So you're looking at it. The problem we've got in Scottish football, the cliche is, if you've not got referees, you've not got a game. Well, we've not got referees, mate. How can we trust any of these referees? They're either terrified to give decisions against them, or they're just blatantly, like Connor, just cheating, mate. There's no other word for it. They're not saying incompetent, don't say cheating, and don't say this, and don't say that. It's a fact, mate. If you listen to that audio, he's acting like a fan, because he is a fan. And he's shouting, no penalty. Not even looked at it. Not even had slowed the play down. No day in his job. Just no penalty. You can't have this, mate. It's wrong. It's totally wrong. But what we've got now is, that's done. It's all done now. So we went through the first line of the cabal's defence. The first line of the cabal's defence to get round this was Willie Collum. Willie Collum comes out and does the right thing for a change. He comes out and does the right thing, gives you the audio and says it was a definite penalty. And he doesn't understand how they got it wrong. The Celtic support, one of them's a Celtic supporter anyway, it's a guarantee. That's why he's shouting, we know that. Right, so we're through that first defence. The second defence is Ian Maxwell, so the CEO of the SFA. They waking him up and tell him, like, you need to say something about this. What's his reaction to it? mistakes happen. The day, human error happens, that's a given. You can't look at that and say that's a human error. That's nothing to do with error, mate. That's just a guy don't want a penalty against his team. That's all that is, mate. It's as simple as that. And if that is the fact, well, that's just cheating. Right, so we're through him. That's the second offence. We're through him. He's a non-entity. He just made a fool of himself. But bear in mind, this is the guy that ruined the credibility of the Scottish Cup, the oldest football cup competition in the world, and that guy ruined the credibility of that by playing it the following year so Celtic could win a treble. Know what I mean? It's ridiculous, mate. So he does take anything he says. He's a clown, an absolute clown. So in there's four. The third one is the mainstream media. And that's why I was particularly interested on the manager's conversation today, because I knew they'd be setting traps. And they're wanting to say something controversial. That's how they let him there. 2 or 3, 4 questions about the Sunday's game. But Clement handled it well. He's not interested now. As far as he's concerned, he's got to concentrate on Dundee. He's got a football team to run here, and a league to win, and a Scottish Cup to win, and a run in Europe still to continue. So he's focusing on his job now. That bit's done. But no, they keep on. So I was waiting. They're waiting. So the mainstream media are going to prod away to try and get them to say controversial thing, so they can actually give front pages with, oh, that's what he said. The manager said this, blah blah blah. So it takes the light away from the actual incident. It's no, the incident's a given. It's what's the follow up of the incident we're worrying about now. Now the fourth one is the two. What do you call them? If there's 3, you would call them the what do you call them? The old Larry, Curly and Mo, but there's only 2 of them. So there is Lywell and McClelland. They've still to come out. Shifty McClelland's yet to come out and start his own homework again. He's yet to have his saying it. Lywell will lie in wait for a while. He'll not come out the now. He'll lie in wait, hope it all dies down, and then he'll come out and try and put it all to bed the way his style is with his phone calls in the background and his wee secret meetings and all this carry on. So that's what we're going, mate. But at the end of the day, Scottish football needs to waken up. The rest of these clubs need to waken up, mate. We haven't got a game now. None of the officials you can trust now, because they're all getting affected with one club, and that's a fact, mate. And you can't have this, mate. You cannot have this. You've got them just basically every season win the league without even a bobbing kick, mate. They're winning leagues. The 11-point gap this season is mainly down to our inability to beat teams. There's nothing wrong with that. I'm not blaming anybody for that. That's firmly down to us, mate. We allowed that gap to get there for various reasons. But I'm telling you, mate, if we don't stand up to the new, mate, and get this changed and start cleaning out that cabal in the SFA and the SPFL, you're never going to get it changed, mate. It's just going to be more of this for season after season after season, and you're just going to get more and more and more and more frustrated about it. It's bad, mate. It's got to be sorted, and the rest of the teams need to start filing in behind Rangers to say, no, Aberdeen, it happens to Aberdeen. I've seen it happen to Aberdeen. What? It's happened to Motherwell. The only 2 managers I remember coming out and saying anything about them, especially at Parkhead, was McInnes and Levine. Levine came out as well. He's the only one that's come out. The rest of the managers just be quiet. They just, oh, okay, it happened. It's all right. But it's not all right. It's absolutely not all right. You had them all shouting and bawling at their AGM about penalty Rangers, penalty Rangers, penalty Rangers. Something started it in the off-holy suit, and it got brought up at their own annual Jers meeting. So they say, penalty Rangers, standing Joe, penalty Rangers. Rangers don't get penalties at all. So they're listening. The referees are listening to their AGMs and what their chief exec's saying. So Rangers don't get penalties. Even Stonewall penalties, you just don't get penalties now. And that's bad, mate. That tells you what's happening in Scottish football. These things are very, very telling. If you want to look at the evidence, it's there in front of you, mate. You can't say it's not happening. Anyway, I'm done now.
Well, I did hear Bial saying he wrote a letter to the SFA and certain ones. It was only 2 pages, Albert. I'm sure you could smash that one anyway. a lot of factual stuff in there, mate. A lot of factual stuff. Listen, we're on the wrong side of this. There's other managers out there. I remember Derek McInnes coming out in an interview. He's actually done it twice, and he's went for Stephen McLean, the referee. And he said he thinks he remember him coming out and saying, we get nothing off him. I think he'd sent one of his players off a couple of times. He just said, he gives us no decisions. and he seems to have a problem with him. Don't know what his beef is with Kilmarnock and all that, but it's not just us, there's other managers out there had a beef. Listen, I accept that there's decisions out there that every club gets, and a lot of them are. You've seen some of them, and some of them are really poor. The thing is when you're in a cup final, and you're obviously they'll pick the referee, they pick the VAR team, it's not the fact that you could say, okay, somebody maybe not seen it right, got it wrong. There was no excuse to get that wrong. I mean, the fact that there's two in the VAR room, there's also the linesman there as well. Although he can probably speak at times, but he's not going to have the major input. When I've listened back to the audio, I don't blame John Beaton, because he does ask them, is everything okay to go? And they say aye. Now, we've been at games all better, and AK, when we've seen offside decisions being given, sometimes it's took nearly a minute and a half before you know.
Well, the Kilmarnock game, we went 6-0 at Kilmarnock. There's two decisions in that. It went to VAR, if you remember it, and they took forever. And that's just two offsides of Friday. Took forever. But that up at Hampden there in that cup final took less than 20 seconds. In fact, I don't even think they managed to look at it in slow motion. That's how fast they made a decision on it. Because it's a Celtic supporter shouting for it. He doesn't want a penalty against his team. Nearly, I don't want a penalty against my team. But I'm not sitting in the VAR and getting paid money to be unbiased and look at these situations with an open mind and fairness in your mind. That's just a Celtic supporter sitting in a VAR room. That's what that is, mate. And he called it. And he actually got them away. They actually got his own team out of jail there by no calling the right decision. And they're all wondering what went wrong. That's what went wrong, mate. That's the fact. That's what went wrong. There's nothing wrong with the equipment. There's nothing wrong with anything else. That's what went wrong. And if that is the case, and I know it's the case, and most people out there know it's the case, you've got something wrong with Scottish football. We're allowing this to carry on. We just we'll learn for this. We'll move on for this. Just move on. So they're saying tonight, and other outlets are trying to start the agenda. Just move on. Well, we're not moving on. The game's done. Stop this replay nonsense. We don't want a replay. So we're no them. No, I mean, we just want fair play, mate. But this needs to be dealt with, and it needs to be dealt with right now. And the first thing that needs to be done is they two clowns never referee or get involved in professional football in Scotland ever again, mate. They need to be kicked out of Scottish football. Especially that corner. He's been at this for years, mate. He's got history. He's definitely got history with us. And I'm not putting up with any more. He's got to go. As far as I'm concerned, the rest of Scottish football don't sit up and start doing something about this. And they'll sit and say, but you get decisions against us as well. Fair enough. If you get decisions and you're not happy about it, and VAR, I've not got a problem with you complaining about that and saying, Rangers get this and Rangers get that. I've not got a problem with people talking that way. But when you actually will get people caught red-handed, what they call him himself get caught red-handed, lying and cheating, mate, at Parkhead with a handball, and then, was it 20 minutes, half an hour later, they come back. I know there was an offside. You go, wait a minute, you're making this up now. What's going on now? I looked at it. You never stopped to play for offside. But no, I mean, he gets promoted right enough. But to be fair,
I did say that, you mate, didn't I, when they go? I said, there's the placeman straight in, straight in at the top of the tree, in charge of referees. But I'll tell you what we'll do. If you want, we'll have a listen and see if they ask the manager anything at all to do with the squad or the team for tomorrow, right? And then we'll see where that takes us after that. So if you two would like to go and mute, we'll hear quickly what the manager had to say about the second part of the interview.
How important is it that result from the final, for as well as you played, doesn't derail what's been a good month and a half for Rangers form-wise?
No, it's always important. Also, if we would have won the final, it was important to win this next game against Dundee. So there's no difference in that way. That's the beauty of this club. That's why I wanted to be here also. I'm also like that. It's the next game and it's about winning every time. So if you won before or you didn't win before, it's about the next game winning and to be ambitious, to want to win everything.
On the positive side, do you think the performances against Tottenham and there against Celtic have maybe proved something to some fans that maybe didn't see the direction you were going in?
I think it was before already, and so I don't think it's fair to speak only about Tottenham or the Celtic game. If you had the Kilmarnock game before, and also the Ross County game to win 0-3 there, when you see that a lot of teams are struggling to get points there, or we had before Malmö or Steaua Bucharest, there were other moments also. It's not that we are just playing well for the last 2 games, but you see that the team is growing, and you see it on everything. You see on the physical part, you see a really, really big evolution the last couple of months, but also technically, tactically, also the team gelling together and understanding the movements more. We're getting more players available, what's also a massive thing, with playing every 3 days. So a lot of things are going in the right direction. What helps is that, I've been speaking about potential of players, and people need time to adapt to a club, to a new way of playing, to a new way of training, to another level also, because all of them didn't play at this level that Rangers is playing. It's a good thing that fans start to see that people that they had doubts about why to buy. I can take the example of Hamza. Why to take a young boy out of Morocco who don't have experience in Europe? Why to take him? That people start to see now why. And they are totally behind that. That I feel everybody I meet in the streets, they say that. And it's not only Hamza, it's several other players also. Jefte is also a really good example in that way, for the amount of money that we buy him, with less experience, with only 20 years old. So he's taking the right steps, but it's not only the new guys and the young guys. I see the last couple of weeks also Taff performing really well. Maybe the best that I've seen him since the period that we are together. So it's all team making steps, and that's the road we need to continue taking.
How's your squad physically for the game? How's your squad physically?
Quite okay. There's some flu going around the building. I had it also beginning of the week. It's now gone with me, so a few players were like in and out in that way, but I don't expect problems around that for tomorrow. And there are no new injuries after the Celtic game.
How close are you to adding to your squad in January?
Those are discussions made with the board, but there are now other people also in the club who wants to take responsibility in that way to speak about that.
Philippe, how's your first week been with Patrick Stewart and as the new boss?
Yeah, it doesn't feel like the first week because we had some talks before already, but it's good because there's open communication, there's a lot of transparency, we discuss about a lot of things. So, of course, with what happened at Hampden, we had a lot of things to discuss together also. So it feels really good for the moment that we have the same ideas about a lot of things, aligned about a lot of things, and that there's open communication.
Philippe, how's Oscar Cortez had 45 minutes? The B team was in the squad last week. Is he close to getting minutes for the first team in the next week or so?
He will be in the squad, yeah. And we will see about getting minutes. It depends also of the game, what it needs. He's not starting the game, he's not there yet. So we will see in the next couple of weeks, because it's not preparation now, that you can say, okay, I give now 20 minutes to this one and 30 to that one and 45 to another one, and to come back to their full rhythm, we need to win all the games. So that stays the most important thing.
Do you have to give extra care because he's had these injuries? Is it a slightly slower process than it would be with other players coming back from injury, or is it?
That's really individual for every player, indeed. Yeah, that's the case with every player.
Hi, back to talking about football, IKEA squad. It looks like maybe apart from this sort of flu virus, sort of cold or whatever you want to call it, it's flying about and a lot of people are getting it. But maybe one or two players have picked it up, but it sounds like apart from maybe John Suter, the squad looks as if it's more or less all there, yeah? No more injuries.
Aye, it's obviously a good thing. He mentioned the other night, Matondo and Cortez both getting 45 minutes in the Glasgow Cup final, which is good for them. Obviously, they'll be added to the squad, which is a welcome addition, because it eases the pressure off of the likes of Bajrami and Hadji having to fill roles that they're not accustomed to. The more players better back, the better. Obviously, we're long term without Cash and Werno, and I think Suter will be maybe a couple of months as well. But you've got Sterling there to utilise in that position and just go with the kind of rest of it. Obviously, Ridvan's there too. But it's coming together. We've had a bit of momentum there, gathered the last few weeks, starting to play well, starting to score goals. So it's just about focusing back on the football again, mate, and recording yet another home victory against Dundee, hopefully.
Aye, it sounds as if most of the squad's there. I've had a week off, more rest. Might have worked on a few things, maybe get a wee bit more training in, get a chance to work on things. All better and just keep things ticking along, because the football would seem been scoring goals, playing a lot better. It's just about keeping this momentum going now and have to start with a league game tomorrow.
Aye, mate, we're playing well. But the game Saturday against Email FC depends what the officials are going to be like. You know what I mean? That's what I'm starting to do. It's just if the officials are right, we're allowed to play football. We're going to get with the fair decisions. But football-wise, we're playing well. We're starting to play well, starting to tick. Some players are really coming into form. Other players are slightly going out of form, to be fair. But it's good. The football's been good, really good to watch, and we're scoring goals. So it's positive, mate, as far as I'm concerned. For your side of things, Rangers' side of things, it's positive. The rest of official land, it's not so positive, you know what I mean? So you don't know what you're going to get. That's for me watching Scottish football, for now, to the day they screw a lid on me, man. That's the way it's going to be with me. You just don't know what you're going to get. You just don't trust them. Bring you back to it, but it's true.
Aye. You referenced a couple of players. Sometimes it doesn't usually single many players out in press conferences when he's asked. He says it's always a team effort and stuff. But he mentioned James Tavernier, and he also mentioned Dignaman, AK, in that bit of his press conference. Obviously, he talked about Cortez because he asked him, but talking about progression and stuff and saying that Tav had played well in the last couple of games. I was surprised to hear him say that, but he's probably just talking the whole sort of club up and the squad up, because there has been a lot of good performances from players.
Aye, well, for me now, he's kind of stating the obvious here. And by the way, there was no doubt about it. Tavernier was struggling start of the season, whether it was through fitness, whether it was through off-the-field activities going on. Was he staying? Was he gone? It's all the factors. Obviously, Igamani coming into the country, hardly speaking a word of English. He wasn't up to full fitness. All these factors are factors in how they're going to be, contributing to the team. And there's no doubt about it. I mean, even young Barron, when he came into the team, first couple of months, I thought the wee man was excellent, outstanding. But he's kind of dropped out of the team now. I think he finds himself a wee bit unlucky for me, because at that stage where the team wasn't gelling well and it wasn't playing well, he was playing well. But now, because the team's playing well, he finds himself out. So I think he's really unlucky. But I think there's factors there, because when you think about it, who was the personnel that Clement had available at the time? He didn't have it, Igamami. He had Dessers up top, he had Lawrence alongside him, and we did look a bit laboured in the midfield with creativity-wise, and obviously the forward line. But now the reintroduction of Hadji has sparked something into life, because you see the difference it's made with Cherny, Bazrami, starting to play decent. Diamondi's really starting to play well alongside Raskin. But it's not to say that Barnes not going to come back into the team again. It's just that it's going to go in cycles. So he's just got to be patient now, learn off his teammates, and then he'll find himself back in the team when maybe an injury or suspension crops up. But as it is now, I think we're in a far better place than we were, say, 4 or 5 weeks ago, that's for sure.
Aye, I think we've got, like you say, Daniel's back, sort of. Ignaman's came in for the cold, and we've been waiting to see what he was going to be like, and he's starting to come on, and he'll, like I say, he'll have good games and bad games, because he's still young and learning and that, but the fact that he's in, he's helping out. Hadji, as you mentioned, I think Raskin as well, since he's come back, managed to stay fit. His performances have been top notch. Do you think Albert, Smith, I'll get to you in a wee second, mate. I've seen you come in all right. Do you think Albert, Conor Barron, do you think the team's benefit for him coming out slightly in the last few games? Think it's a hard deal. I think he's feel a wee bit hard done.
The reason he's out the team is because we've changed the dynamics, because there's players coming back and Clement can play the style of football that he's wanted to play all along. And the wee man doesn't quite suit that at the moment. Now, that's not to say he can't be a valuable part of this team, this squad. There's definitely a player there, the wee man, and he's proved that. The trouble is, he's more a defensive midfielder than he is an attacking midfielder. And at the moment, we like to play attacking. So if he's going to remain just a defensive midfielder, well, he's in direct competition with Raskin. But Raskin's got another string to his bow. He can get up the park as well, mate, and he can, at times, and I'm saying at times, pick a pass. So the wee man needs to add that to his game, and I'm sure Clement and his team will coach that into him. And once he gets that, he's going to be a hell of a player, the wee man. He really is, because he's got some engine, a fantastic engine. But again, the style's changed, so he's not in the team. It's just the way it is. It's just the way. I never actually, to be honest, when we signed him first, I never actually thought him to be a crucial member of the team, or a first team start, for want of a better terminology. I never actually thought he'd manage that, but he did it, and that was through necessity, because we never had many players fit and available. So a lot of the attacking options we had were all injured and sitting in stands and no benches, but treatment rooms and what God knows. But so he's a wee bit of a victim. He's a wee bit of a victim of the style, the play, the style of play changing. But that is the style that Clement always wanted to play, mate. He just never had the personnel to play.
Mm-hmm. You'll be an integral part of the squad going forward, Conor Barron. At the moment, he's took him out, and I think Leeds must, at the time when we flung him in and made him a mainstay of the team, it put a lot of pressure on him, considering the amount of games he'd played, like Celtic Hearts, Brecon, and 20-odd games for Aberdeen, and then we flung him right in and made him the mainstay in the team. But he'll have a big part to play and going forward in the years to come, I think. Smurf, how you doing, buddy?
No bad. They're all okay.
You're a wee bit low again with your English. Maybe you come more forward. Just slightly, mate.
That's that again. Is it any better?
No, you're still a bit low.
You under the bed?
Oh no.
He's in the closet.
Go again. You're just still a bit low. It'll probably be because listeners will be listening. You will be quite low, probably, no?
Want to bring me back and see?
Aye, we'll get you back in, right? All right. Tomorrow as well, an important league game, and also I've got to get back to winning ways. It'll be interesting to see what the starting 11 is tomorrow and what he picks. But looking forward to Ibrox, and obviously going for the 125 years that Ibrox has been there. So it's a special day tomorrow, Ike.
Aye, absolutely. I had a wee chat today with my dad, managed to catch him back for a funeral, but I mentioned to him that the subject you breached there with the 125th, and I asked him about his first game, and this might trigger a wee memory out there with some of the kind of older ones. But 1961, he said his first game at Ibrox, a home game to St Mirren, where they won, I think, 4-0, and he reckons John Gregg actually made his debut that day. So that might trigger some memories with Bob J or old Davey or that. Maybe even yourself, Albert.
61, I was still getting breastfed at 61, you.
I think we'll get Smurf back first, right? Hold on, Albert. I think we'll get Smurf back, and then we'll come back to you. Smurf, on you go.
Aye, is that any better?
100% better, mate.
Aye. I'm standing right next to the router. I can't even remember what my point was, did you know?
Well, I'll tell you what, if we're just going to talk about Ibrox in the 125 year tomorrow, if you can remember back to one of your games, you took a trip to Ibrox back in the day.
Aye. What?
One of your memories again, going to Ibrox?
My memories, aye, I'll tell you, it was a great memory for me. I've been going to Ibrox for quite a wee while, and I used to go with uncles and that, my dad, whatever. My ma let me go with my dad this time. So midweek game. And I'll never forget the rain. My mum wasn't going to let me go. It was torrential. It was against Osasuna.
Oh, I remember that.
Aye. Mm-hmm.
Don't know if you remember the
Yep.
game.
I
Craig
remember
Patterson
that one.
scored.
Some night that.
Remember that one?
Torrential,
I remember Bobby Williamson kept the ball and he robbed the defender and he kicked the ball in front of him and he's running on it, sprinting on it, and he ran past it because it's no deep. I remember that. And but it was never going to be a classic, but there was a lot of margin for error, and we were lucky sort of to get away with that victory. And I remember in the return leg, Ian Durant missed a sitter. Imagine Ian, you'd put your mortgage on it, and we went out when we should have been through. And that was always getting away with that win. I never forget that. It was because it never looked lightly, if you know what I mean. And it wasn't a classic game, but it just shows you it's not always the big spectacular games or the big famous wins. It's that game that sticks in my mind. I remember getting home soaked to the bone, and being really happy,
Aye. I just think every time I sort of walk down towards Ibrox, if you're coming down the Copeland Road for the Paisley Road West end of that, and then once you just sort of turn left and you have a look across at Ibrox and you see the red brickwork right along the front and all that, I think it just looks so impressive. Obviously, I remember the old Ibrox, and talking about old, I think we've got Davey in. How you doing, pal?
How you doing, guys? I'm fine. Great stuff. Just a wee question for Albert. You there?
Go for it. Aye,
on you
go.
See if I need a lawyer. Will you do the business?
Get you in jail.
I specialise in Rangers.
At one point, I forgot Alec Kelly was on the show.
Well, I did say it 4 pages. We were trying to cut him down before the tune, but I thought we'll just let him go now. I think that was more than 4 pages, David.
Well, he was spot on with everything he says, but I think we've got to leave this one. It's not doing us any favours. It's suit now. It's been more clarification, but in the long run, is it going to help the situation? I don't think so. I think it's too... Sorry?
Albert, can I reply to that?
Aye, go for it, pal.
See that 8.5 in a row? See when you add that onto it? In the League Cup final, when we had them on toast the whole game, we were cheated out of that one and all. See when you start totting it up, it then becomes
a thing.
It's not a Clement issue. I thought Clement was. I've been a wee bit critical of him with the media, but I thought this interview, he handled himself really, really well, considering the furore around everything. But I have to say, I do think behind the scenes, quietly, not in public, that the club's got to take the authorities to task over this. Because when you start totting it up, it becomes a nonsense. And if we don't do something about it, nobody's going to do anything about it, innit? But I get your sentiment, I get your point, for the players, for the dressing room, they've got to just park it and move on.
I think behind the scenes, I think the club should still actively seek keeping the pressure on. At the end of the day, it was blatant. I mean, it was a blatant decision. It's not even up for debate. And there's a fact it didn't even take much time to even look at it. And that's when you start to think, 2 user dates in there can get this wrong. Is there a reason why you want to get it wrong? Did you rush it through for a reason? No, because you didn't take time, like you said, we're at a Kilmarnock game, it took nearly 2 minutes to check an offside decision. But and there was a foul gave and he had booked him. So you had plenty of time to run that. And then when you look back to things that we've had in the past, chalked half goals and stuff, we kept probably a dignified silence because nobody ever done anything about it up there. I'll give Colin his due. He's had to come out, but he's had to come out and say it was blatant and it was wrong. You know, he had no option. If he'd come out and said anything else, he'd have been getting questioned. And he's questionable as it is at times, no. But aye, Smurf, I think we park it, like, and we move on. Because at the end of the day, it's done. As we've got to a league game tomorrow. I was going to ask Davey, when was one of your first or one of your good memories? And I'll go to the old Ibrox first, right?
That game Alec was talking about his dad.
Aye, well, yeah, I guess you would have been at that one.
I got a lofty door there. I was 12.
12? You lifted it when you're 12?
Yeah.
1961.
1961. 1961. I was born in
height of Red Van, no, Davey, weren't you?
I was born 1949, guys, and my birthday's coming up.
By Christmas Day.
David, where did you used to go to in Ibrox at the start?
Well, when I was young, I used to go down the very front of the Copeland, and then when I got older and started learning all the battle songs, I went under the old enclosure where the Brigden Dairy Boys used to go, and that's where the choir was. And
Centenary Stone.
Centenary Stone.
Yeah, the old one. Aye. They made it into a stand. They seated it, but it wasn't very good. I could go back a long time.
Aye, that was Glasgow Council that done that, mate. That wasn't the Rangers. They done that for the centenary year. They say the ball. They put the wooden benches in, remember? Horrible.
Good days.
Good atmosphere in there, old bear, wasn't they?
Oh, that was a dairy, aye. It was great, mate. Really good. The Union Bears would have loved that, I'll tell you. They'd have took over it. It was superb. My memory is chasing that guy with the bolts of macaroons and spearmint chewing gum. I could spend all game trying to chase him all over the place, man. My first time I was in Ibrox was when my dad took me to the main stand. He always liked the stands, so that was my first game at Ibrox, main stand. It was downhill after that. Then I was in the Rangers end. The best thing I remember about old Ibrox, you used to get to the big blue gates, right? And then you get the turnstiles next to it, and then you used to walk up the stairs. It wasn't the stair 13, it was the other one, the other side I used to go. I used to walk up. I used to love walking up to the top of these stairs, and just before you get over the crest, and then just seeing the park go in front. It was some feeling. I used to get goosebumps every time I done it. It was superb. That's my binding memory of the old Ibrox.
Aye, it's like when you dig up there, as you're talking about Old Bear, when you're in the old Rangers end or in the Centenary Stand. I've been in the enclosure, been in the main stand, and I've been in the club deck and all, actually, for games. But aye, it's when you see now how it's changed and how it gradually changed. For when we used to go Old Bear, used to come, you had the old red railings, remember, at the side, and that, all the railings were painted red and all that, Davy.
Yeah.
You know, and John Gregg's testimonial, I remember being at that at Ibrox. There was some atmosphere that day. I think that's got a record crowd in it for a testimonial match.
Yeah. Do you remember the old press box that used to sit on the main stand?
I got in there once before and all.
I was in there.
You've been in RangersRadio that long, Suicide?
What's that?
Have you been in RangersRadio that long? You'd a press pass.
There wasn't a radio in the days.
Just a wee invitation in to see it and out again. That was it. Back in the day. But aye. Remember you used to win the
Cup semi-final, remember that? Sitting in the wall at the Celtic end. When the Sandy Jardine curled that ball in, remember? I remember that. That was a good memory. Seeing that ball hitting the back. It's coming straight for me, actually. I was sitting on the wall at the Brimley Road then, watching that. It was the semi-finals of the Cup Winners' Cup against Bayern Munich.
Aye. Wee pal, back in the day, he was a ball boy at Ibrox in about 1977, 78, 79. And he used to be up there. Up at that end that you're talking about, Old Bear. I remember the the game John Gregg scored at Ibrox. They appealed for a penalty. It was never a penalty. And we were up the park, and Greg, I think we were 1-3 that day. And I remember Robert, he used to be jumping about. We go to school together and all that, and he was jumping about behind with the old blue tracksuit on. They used to give at Ibrox, if you remember, for the ball boys. You'll not remember that, Smurf, because you're giving at Osasuna game, aren't you?
See that Osasuna game? That's the wettest I've ever seen Ibrox. That was monsoon weather, but it was unbelievable.
I know. I think I've stayed a bit.
I've just been asked, by the way, are you going to use a chorus down the Paisley Road?
Here you go.
I think the first game I remember, not the first game I was at, but the first game I ever remember being at Ibrox was against Aberdeen, and I vividly remember it. I don't know, I think the guy's name might be Drew Jarvie, a baldy guy. He looks a bit like Bob Charlton sort of thing.
I played at Aberdeen.
I remember him playing that day, and thinking maybe he looked, as a young Wayne, I thought he looked dangerous. I was sort of a bit worried.
Oh, he was some player.
Was he a good player, aye?
Oh, aye, some player. Brilliant player.
And I remember sort of recognising that, and being kind of worried. I remember that vividly, actually. Aye. That's the first game I ever... I don't know what season it was around, but that's the first game I remember being at Ibrox.
Aye. You can get back to when the wee blue motors used to get in the stadium, and they used to have the wee scoreboard thing at the end, remember? They used to walk around the track carrying the... Was it a Pools? Was it a Pools number, was it? Or was it just the half-time draws? Half-time draw, was it?
Your programme used to have all the teams that were playing in the Scottish League that day or that week, and each one had a letter next to it.
That's right,
they used to give you the scores, like D02, so somebody was playing, it's just a score, you know how it works. It was brilliant. I used to come out with the bar in it, the wee bar with all the D's and the numbers, and it was excellent. It was excellent. Because you used to battle them, they used to rattle it like mad. I was going to swear there, but they used to rattle like mad. Make some racket with them. Also remember up in the main stand with my old man, when Colin Steen gets sent off against Rangers, and so did Alec Ferguson. Remember the two of them were fighting on the park? Do you remember that?
Davey?
Sorry. Aye.
Well,
Here's one for you. Here's one for the archives. You'll not remember this. I when I was at school, there used to be Rangers used to have a sports day for all the public.
That's right.
A sports day. I can't remember if that's what they called it. And I was running from a school around the big track, and I tell you, that was what a moment that was. What a feeling that was. It was I don't know if you remember that.
Aye.
My dad spoke about it. In fact, I think he says these running tracks are 400 metres, but 400 yards or whatever. But that was, I think the one round Ibrox, he says, was 440. I don't know how he knows that, but that's what he told me.
Because the reason why I remember is because I came in last.
Did they pay in? You got left out that day or no?
Aye, they had the sports days. It was back in the day when they had the sports days, and then they were inviting all the international runners and all that to come with royalty and all that to Ibrox, but we invited all the runners and used to have a sports day and all that. And it back in the day, because of the track and stuff at Ibrox. Constant, I guess like Frank Sinatra, Davey. No, did you not go down to that at Ibrox?
You done it, Mikey.
Aye, Davey, you must have seen Wild Bill Hickok. He was there, I know. We've had a few cowboys since him, right enough, but he was there.
Winston Churchill.
Is there no time for the tune? I'm getting a dude here.
No, so you're known and up to Frank Sinatra then, no? You weren't a fan, no?
Oh, no, but I remember, I didn't go right enough. I remember Rod Stewart went to Ibrox in the 70s.
Oh, come on, you.
Come on, you get a grip.
Come on.
Yeah. Trust you to bring it. Come on.
Come on. Here, Smurf. You're getting frozen out till after the tune, you, right?
I can't stand him. I can't hear his guys.
What about Bon Jovi, Smurf?
Aye, maybe you're getting a wee bit better now, a wee bit warmer. No, see all that stuff for the running track, it all went back to Bill Struth, didn't it? Because that's what he was. He was an athletics man. He introduced it. And Eric Liddell and all that. Eric Liddell used to come to the sports thing and that. So
correct, aye. There's a bit of it in the museum. If you go in, once you do the tour of the museum, AK, there's bits of it in there you can watch and see the old videos and stuff. It's well done inside the museum.
Yeah, I've been through the museum with my dad and my boy last year. It's quite interesting. In fact, I think one of the founding fathers, was it Peter Campbell, was actually an athletic champion when he was younger as well. Obviously, the rowing side of things, they were all keen rowers as well. Part of the rowing club, is it a Clyde Rowing Club or something? And that's how they actually befriended each other. So it's very interesting.
Up at the university, was it not?
And Fletcher Hall, and it's loads of 125 years. Wow. Some stadium, and even see that marble staircase and the changing rooms. I mean, they've tried they've done wee bits of upgrades and that, but see they've kept the wood. I believe the wood was off what was it, a Queen Elizabeth?
Queen Elizabeth, aye.
Aye, so it's absolutely beautiful, and the fact that they've kept a lot of the traditions is fantastic. But just briefly before we go to tune, Osasuna was my very first game, Smurf. So I remember that very well. 1985, I was 10-year-old, and just what you were saying, Southside, when you come up, obviously you're not going way up the stairs the way you used to, Dave, but when you come up the concourse and you see the park in front of you and just everything opens, I still get goosebumps in my neck every time I come out them to see the park in front of you. What a beautiful sight Ibrox is.
It was Craig Patterson that scored that night.
It was. And Shuggy Burns got took off.
Shuggy Burns put the ball in, aye.
But he got took off for hypothermia.
How that game went on that night was unbelievable, wasn't it, with the weather? I remember I was at that time I was only about a 20-minute walk away from Ibrox that night when I was back in the day then, and I'm absolutely drunk. No, getting to the stadium, it was just absolutely bouncing. The only other sort of night I think I remember similar to that was the night at Hampden when McCoy scored with 10 men. Davy Robertson gets sent off. I was in that north. I was in the north enclosure that night. Didn't have a roof back then, and it was absolutely pelting down all night, the whole night. I mean, it was good when you win, obviously, but that was another night. It was absolutely torrential that night.
After that Osasuna game, I was going night shift. I went night shift after that. Drunk getting away from it.
Jesus Christ! I remember, my dad telling me Bill Struth came back to his athletics days. When the team was going out, he used to say to them, but he had a wee saying that harked back to his athletics. Every post's a winning post. Just keep going, never stop, sort of thing, And it just shows you the history in it. Even though you just need to look at it, you smell the history, you know what I mean? But all that nuance, all the wee snippets and people tell you that, it's just remarkable. And there's nothing like it anywhere, Maybe Villa Parks, same architect, similar vibe, but there's nothing like Ibrox anywhere in the world, in my opinion.
Right, guys, well, on that note, if you would like to hit mute, we're going to have a tune.
heroes of old, making history for the world to see. The stories of glories unfold. We are the legendary Rangers. We wear the legendary blue. Today, forever, and for always. We are Rangers through and through. Well, the legends come and the legends go, but Rangers live on just the same. For a new one's born when the blue shirts won, and we all remember their name. We are the legendary Rangers. We wear the legendary blue. Today, forever, and for always. We are Rangers through and through. And there is no doubt what we're all about when we face the world and say, bring it on some more, 'cause you know for sure that we don't do walk away. We don't do walk away. We are the legendary Rangers. We wear the legendary blue. Today, forever, and for always. We are Rangers through and through. We are the legendary Rangers. We wear the legendary blue. Today, forever, and for always. We are Rangers through and
Why don't you give us a call on 0141 356 1972? It's your show, it's your platform. Let's hear from you.
Aye, just been sent a wee message here, Albert. Bill Bold Fox boy. He met his wife at Ibrox. One of his wives or something, we'll say that. The one that started his first wife, we'll say. Met her at Ibrox, Albert, eh?
Well, not bad, mate. That's well done. How long were you married for?
You can't ask him that, you can't ask him that. But, aye.
Easy,
So
he's done it.
They went to Parky.
25 year. There you go. 25 year.
25 years. Oh, you got a cloak anyway. That's what I got.
Hey, hold on, where are we? You've lost the chain of thought here, Davey. This is shocking.
Well, we were asking who did you meet your wife? Some at mine in a ghost trade.
What part were you playing?
Couldn't you be frightening enough, Davey?
No, but see, to get back to what we're talking about, guys, see, do you think anything will really come out of all this? They're talking about the VAR and all that. Do you think that could have an effect? No, I don't mean an effect on the players, but do you think that will just give them the impetus now to say that we're starting to get what this club's all about and what we need to do to win? Do you think that will give them a wee bit more motivation?
I just think we just get the heat focus back into the games, AK, and just get back to winning ways, and what will be. And when we get to play them on the second, I'd like to think there'll probably be that wee bit extra motivation that day. Not that you should need it, but just to make sure that we get that result that day.
Oh, 100%. And David, now I think you've touched on a subject there that they should see. If they didn't know what our club is all about, they should know now, and they should have a seized mentality in them there. now because you know what they're up against. They're not just up against teams 11 men on the park. They're up against the officials too. So it should give them that extra motivation whenever they play them. But every time they represent our club, they pull on our jersey. You should be doing it for the support and that anyway. But this might, sink in with a lot of them. This is what our club's all about. We fight in adversity. We don't just accept it. We fight for, the cause, our club, our support, our traditions, our history, our culture, everything about our club. They want to, suppress basically, and we're not willing to accept that. So what Albert said tonight was absolutely superb, mate. I was giving you a round of applause here on mute. You were that good. But good on you, mate.
You missed the subtle question, the subtle dig at them for Clement. Clement turns around and says, we don't take positivity out of negative. In other words, he's telling you, we're not them. They need a cause all the time, mate. They need the chip in the shoulder. We don't. We're Glasgow Rangers. We enjoy the chase.
Aye, true.
Smurf, any adverse effect? I would just get back to trying to play good football again like we had been and just get the wins and take us forward and see where we go with.
Look, it's just what the boys have been saying there. And even Soonish, nobody likes us, we don't care. It's no new news. This isn't new news. No. It's just part of the territory. It comes with playing for Rangers, and every game you're playing, it's going to be like your last, and you've got to go. It's a cup final, and everybody's against you. The referees, the authorities, everybody, and they've got to get it in their head. And you can't put That's why you need character to play for this club, because it's not just for one game. It's the next game, and the next game after that, and then the next game after that. You've always got to be ready to go, and you've always got to find the same challenges and the same problems and the same hypocrisy and the same cheating. You're always going to find that. And so, you go again, and you keep going, and that's it. Every post's a winning post. You just keep going.
Aye, that's what I've thought. Like I say, these two in the room will have to live with their decisions and what they've done, and we've just got to move on and win games of football. And that's
three of them, no 2, 3.
Aye, three of them. Aye, they've got to live with it, and we move forward and just try and win games of football. If we're looking at sort of the team for the morrow, apart from we could all probably agree on our goalkeeper, does anybody think anything will change in the right back area, or do you think James Tavernier will start tomorrow at right back? Do you get any objections to that?
I think Kelly should go in goals.
Do you know, we'll see if you say that. I would maybe play Kelly in goals against Fraserburgh in the Cup later on in this month. No?
I keep on for that one then.
We should be able to sort of do something like that. I don't think it should be an issue when you've got a game in the Cup.
I should begin him again.
Well, we've had this sort of debate. The squad's got slightly stronger now. Davey, the squad's got slightly stronger. We've got players back, like we've talked about. Raskin's back now playing well. We've got Hadji available back in the squad, Danilo and Ignaman. So the squad for maybe some of the younger boys or that, or guys that have been out for a good while, you can maybe think a chance to. They're not going to really get that chance now. We've got to keep the pedal to the metal at the moment, Davey. No, we need wins.
Yeah, all day long. You're spot on. I think there'll be. I'm looking for a reaction anyway. When I say a reaction, I'm looking for more of what we've been doing, rather than we'll hit the buffers now. We've had a bum result against that and Muddle Drinkers, but I mean that's in the past now as far as I'm concerned. So you want to go out there and give Dundee a good doing, and then get that monkey mob and really give it to them. That's the best way to answer all this. Is beat teams, get the goals. Then you can't argue. There's no decisions, and that's been a problem with us. We've been winning games 1 and not 2 goals. We need to go out there and start getting it. And as Clement says, us people would listen to the man sometimes. He's trying to get that team to fit together. but people are not giving him the time because it's that monkey mob's romping it. Everybody's going, oh, he's going to go, he's going to sack a manager. No, it doesn't work that way, guys. It doesn't work that way. It's coming slowly but surely. I think everybody can see it.
I think that's all better. I think that's what we want. We want to get 2 or 3 goals up in a game in these league games, because we've got a game on the 21st, a game on the 26th, a game on the 29th, and then a game on the 2nd. And as you know, Balogun, even the first time round, can struggle to get through the games. So I would like to think if we could get 2 or 3 nothing up, especially tomorrow at Ibrox. I know he's had a full week off, but there's no reason why we shouldn't be able to take him off and then make sure he's all right for the St Mirren game and a few days later, and then obviously going into the Motherwell game, which is a shorter time span again before we play them at Ibrox. So I think probably he's about the only one I'd like to think we should probably have to nurse through these games, since he's the only available centre-back allowing me proper at the moment, unless he changes it anyhow.
Well, you're going to have to play King eventually. There's no doubt about it, mate. He's going to come into the team eventually. So what game do you play King in? I think you're going to, if Balogun's fit, you'll play the strongest team against Dundee. I think that's a given. Or he might say, no, play King in one or two of the home games rather than away. And keep Balogun for the away games, Balogun and Proper for the away games. But King will need to come into the team sometime. It's just a fact, because you're never going to get through this period without the Balogun and Proper. It's not going to happen. It's all right saying Sterling can play centre-half, but he didn't look, I don't know about you, but he doesn't look particularly comfortable at centre-half. Maybe I'm wrong with him. But nah, I think King will come into it. But I think the starting 11 on Saturday will be the strongest starting 11 we can put out. Because we're still trying to get a league title here, mate. This is an important game. Don't give up in the league title. We need these points. And he's still trying to gel the team. It's starting to play well, but it's not there yet. He said that himself. There's more to come for this team. And the only way you get it to gel is by playing them together. So it'll be his strongest team, put it that way. He'll know start monkeying about and make mental changes just for the sake of give people time. Or some minutes. He'll do it if you're 3-0 up for the likes of Cortez and people who's come back to fitness. But he'll no mess about with the team this time, mate. This is a league title we're going for.
Aye, well, you think it should push King up the pecking order slightly, but I don't know. I get that he might have to come in at some point, but I'm not sure if he will. I don't know. I think come January, if he's not needed round about, which he hasn't been, to be perfectly honest, I think he's going to get a loan move in January. That's what I believe will happen to Leon King, and they'll take it for there. But I think that's what's going to happen. He'll be on an exit strategy, Smurf, come January, because he has to get play football.
I mean, you just got to look at Balogun. Balogun was moved on to make room for a boy to come through, and then they bring him back. So, to be honest, I think his time's up, and I don't think he's a bad player. I think there's a lot of circumstances around why, there's no reserve league, etc., etc., etc. It's the same old story. But I don't think it's a lack of talent. I'm not so sure he's actually a centre half anyway. I don't know what his position is. But if he's not going to get a shout now, we've been struggling the way we've been struggling. I think his number's up, personally.
Aye, I've never really seen him as a centre half. We've spoken on it here before. AK about Leon, right back. Some people sort of seen him playing. He's done it for Scotland. He's played holding role, midfield for Scotland, and he's also played centre back. But I believed he was trying to get away in January, but I don't know if this will change now with Souttar's injury.
The only reason he's played. Oh, sorry, I thought it was for me.
Have you reached you? You've been on your box all night.
I'm just going to say he played hold midfield for Scotland because Clark was pushed when he pushed the team.
He did. I think that's Mary's comfortable role is playing midfield. It was needs must at the time, wasn't it, with the injuries that hurt us with Golson and Hollander we'd sold Balogun, we'd sold whoever. But I think that was Ross Wilson's brainchild to get rid of all them. So it was needs must that King get stood up there, and Sands ended up partnering him, if you remember right as well, and that wasn't his natural role. So I think we get by with Balogun and Proper just now. We've got Sterling there as a backup, and obviously maybe even NCL as possible could get added to the squad. Clement looked at him the other night again there. That's a possibility. I think he would be ahead in the queue for me rather than Leon King, because we've not seen him in 2 years or something. He's not featured in the first team at all, I don't think. So we'll get by the now with the defence. It's not the greatest, but transfer window's coming up soon, and we really need to make some decent acquisitions in that, I would say.
So you're probably thinking it with Butland, Tav, Balogun, Proper, and Yefty.
Yes, I'd agree with that. Yep.
Yeah.
So if you look at that, then that'll be our defence. If you go into midfield, how do you see that setting up, Albert?
Oh, it'll be Raskin and Diamande. Diamande, if he's fit.
Right.
And then you probably have. Sorry, I'll do the midfield.
No, on you go. No, on you go. You might as well go for it and see if
and then the other
anything
three will be Rajami, Hadji, and I would say Danilo, but it'll probably be Cherny. It'll probably be Cherny. What do you call him? Hadji and Barjami, aye. Bariami. And then your man, Igaman up front.
Do you see that the same, Smurf? Think that'll be?
It's not going to be a million miles away. The only one I would change is, and he's already alluded to it, was if it was me personally, I'd start with Danilo and try and chop it up a bit. But because I think you've seen Danilo, he's quite clinical. I think if we can get goals, 2 or 3 goals early doors, you can start to relax in a wee bit, and start making changes and getting other boys' minutes, and using the full complement of substitutions available to you. So I'd be going for goals. I would go with that. Same lineup, but on a personal level, I'd start with Danilo.
So most people are going along the same lines, Davey. Take Ridvan out for the team. Although he didn't start in the game, but I would think probably in the next one of the games, I think we might see Ridvan maybe swap for Yefty, whether it's the St Mirren game or whether it's the Motherwell game. I think because we've got cover there, Davey, I think if you start with Yefty, maybe even Yefty starts the next game, either or, he's got a chance to swap one of them to give one a wee bit more a rest for the game in January. Do you know what I mean? Try and keep players a bit fresher. So in the left back role, we could certainly do that in a game about the next 3.
Well, that's good about having the options. We've got options because a lot of times coming up this time of the year, we were trying to keep just to get a team out on the park. But now we've got quite a lot of players that were injured back up, and they're all two for one position now. So I think he's got headaches to pick his team now, and I think that's what he wanted. So that looks good. And I think Albert should be renamed the prosecutor.
How do you see that in midfield, AK? You think it's similar to how Albert sees it, or do you think there'll be any other surprises?
No, pretty much. I think it kind of picks itself. The only debate I think that the gaffer might have is where he starts Bajrami and or Danilo. For me, at home to Dundee, I think we could start Danilo. That 4 up front was giving teams all sorts of problems. We Hadji, Ganami and Cherny. I think you go back to that because I think Dundee will come and sit. They'll play 4-5-1. I think although they are adaptable. They've got a young guy, Lyle Cameron, 4 goals, 4 assists so far in the season. They've also got Simon Murray. I don't know whether they'll use him as the kind of target man, but he's caused us problems in the past with Ross County. So that they'll, and the other one, if you remember right, Guaranteed them, or there's a booking here for you. See the big black guy in the midfield, Mo Salah. Every time he comes to Ibrox, he gets stuck right in about us. So I'll be taking him for a booking tomorrow.
The young boy you talked about, Lyle Cameron, he's been spoke about. Albert was a good B player for Dundee. Seemed to have developed him quite well. It'll be interesting to see, because fair to hype about Lennon Miller and all that, and every time I've watched him against us, he's never really sort of thought he'd showed up. But I'm not saying he's not a talent, but just in the game. So I'll keep an eye on him tomorrow if he's playing, just to see, because he gets a bit of hype, the boy.
He's not a bad player. I mean, it's like everything else, isn't it? That everybody plays well against us. You very rarely see a player played bad against us. It doesn't happen that often, trust me, doesn't it? So I'm a bit wary about players coming to Ibrox and playing well. I'm more interested they go to Parkhead and play well. I want to look at them then. That's when you want to. I don't look at them, but that's when you should be judging players. Not what they do against your team. Us Rangers, what they do against them, before you want to start signing players. But he comes across as a decent enough player. As the wee boy Muller for Motherwell, the bits I've seen him, I've never really seen him doing much, but for all accounts he's a decent player. But anyway, I look at that boy Bailey Rice as well, and I don't see much for him either, but everybody's telling me he's a brilliant player. I just look at the boy and say to myself, well, he can pass a ball, he likes a Hollywood pass. That's all I see about him. His work rate's a bit iffy, but I don't know if the boy Muller would fit into Rangers. But again, can you afford them? That's going to be the big asking point, isn't it?
Aye, well, that's the thing. They're hyping them up. People are talking about them and that. And because we don't see them every week, you only listen to what some people say. And by all accounts, the boy Lennon Miller has got a lot of ability. They've made him captain. I think that's probably maybe keep players away from it. There's a lot more experienced players play for Motherwell, but coming through their youth ranks, we'll see what happens and where he goes in the future, if we've got any interest in him at all, and if we can bring them on, and then maybe we get a closer watch him. But Bailey Rice is there, as you said, and like you said, Albert's work rate for me hasn't been great in the games, but he can certainly pass a ball. But the other night I noticed, I don't know if you've seen it, Smurf, I think it was on, they had it on Premier. He seemed to drop into the back two in beside Enciala and in beside Leon King and pick the ball up. And to me, you want him more forward, I think, in the team. But we'll see what happens. But he's got a chance to. He's certainly a talented football player. But I think work rate, and obviously we need to be in a better place. And we're starting to get there by playing well in this, Smurf. And then we can maybe introduce maybe one of the younger boys again.
I did see that, and actually I went on that transfer market, and they've actually got him as listed on there as a defensive midfielder, as if that would be, his bag. But as you say, with that passing ability, you think he'd be further forward, but what do we know? It's the work rate with that boy, that's the issue. It's swanning about. And you're Beckenbauer, and maybe you're not just quite that good.
Certainly. There you go, Smurf.
It's really, really hard. And there's, you see that his industry, his desire, his heart, he's fearless, and he puts a shift in. And to be honest with you, I've seen of Bailey Rice and that, none of them work as hard as that boy.
Good side.
Yes.
I'll just say good night to you all guys, right? Because I've got to get in and give my window cleaner Christmas card. So
aye, you better do that.
Come on, guys, kill it.
Just in case you're hanging about. Just in case you're hanging about after the New Year, Davey.
No, not she's waiting. The ladder's hanging out the window, so I'm just nicking round. But anyway, it's great show, guys, and never mind the conspiracies. We know what it's all about. We know what they're all about. So God bless you, Jers, and good night, and stay safe, everybody.
Davey, geared one.
Davey.
Right, Davey.
I cared.
He's gone. Aye, listen, we've got a few like we've seen. Lovelace and Cole McKinnon's always sort of been in this sort of squads, but getting very little game time. Scored again the other night. Didn't have a productive game throughout the 90 minutes, but he got himself on the score sheet. But it's just, we have to be in a better place, and the boys obviously heard come on talking about it. They need to fight to be better than what's in there. And at the moment, if you're looking at it and you've got a Barron who be signed and had just got flung in and get told to go for it, and now he's at the team, so the chance of somebody like Cole McKinnon coming in there, or a Bailey Rice, will be certainly not in the immediate future anyway.
No, it's not looking like it, mate. It's disappointing. I think the person that's more disappointed in it is Clement himself, because he definitely wants to bring them in. But they need to show something. It's like McCausland's sitting there. McCausland's not getting a game now. He's sitting there. Now, I looked at the boy and he's growing facial hair. I wish he would grow muscles instead of facial hair, mate. Start growing muscles, son, and start bulking yourself up. And get into the fitness people and say, what do I need to do to bulk up? Because that's what's lacking in these boys. Bulk up so that you've got you can go into a part at the first team level and handle yourself. Score goals, as I said before, that's what will get you noticed. All the nice play in the world is one thing, but you start rattling the ball in the net, people take notice. Not just for Rangers management team, all management teams right across the country start taking notice of you. I don't understand them why I watched them there against that mob, and there's not enough of them want to shoot. There's not enough of them want to take the ball into the area and have a dig. As far as I'm concerned, so that and bulk up, they're just no physically ready, and that's the disappointing thing for Clement, because he does want to bring them in, mate. There's no doubt about it. He wants to put them on the park, but he doesn't. He daren't know it, no doubt now, because we've not got the right squad, and we're not that comfortable in games to bring them in. But he does. I know he'll not want to bring them in that wee 15 minutes when we're 3-4-0 up. He wants these boys to challenge for a starting position. He's not wanting them to be these wee part-time players and they get a wee couple of minutes here, there, and everywhere. No, he's saying to them, he's telling them. I don't know how plain he has to make it to them. There's positions there to be had if you actually knuckle down and start doing the right things. Look at Raskin as a good example for a first-team player. He started knuckling down. Look at the difference. If you want an example, that's who you look at for these young boys. I'm talking about. If you want an example, look at Raskin. Go and ask Raskin, what have you done? What have you? He's talking about he's changed his diet and things like that. There might be other things I don't know, but all these small things add up to a big difference in a player. So I just, this is the ideal time to be a boy at Rangers. I'm telling you, this is the ideal time. You'll get into the team if you knuckle down.
It's interesting to say this, Albert, because I watched an interview with him and he says he's lost 2 kilo and it's made the difference. Just 2 kilo.
You know what I mean? I want to say to your mind as well, Smarty. If you think it's doing you good, it's doing you good. If it's in your mind, it's doing you good. And the evidence is there. The boy's playing well. He's really playing well. I mean, that's the player we thought we were getting right at the beginning. A wee terrier in the middle of the park, getting about, winning challenges, breaking things down.
He's been immense. I mean, we're all going over, we're talking about the young boy Barron, how well he done, and he's settling into a struggling team and all that. But the team started to kick on a wee bit. It's starting to click, gel, motor, and maybe not quite motoring, but we're starting to gel a bit. And he can't get in the team. And when you look at Raskin, and then you look at Barron, I'm not talking about endeavour, nor I'm just talking about he's just a better player. And that's the difference, A healthy Rangers will see a boy like Connor Barron as in my opinion, squad player, and that's useful. It's a squad game now, but we need to be bringing in quality, and we need to be bringing in starters and going forward in these transfer windows, and that doesn't mean to say that there are no also prospects, because we've seen Igaman come in. He's a starter for no a lot of money, so they're out there. I'm excited going forward. We just need to get people out and get the right profile in with the right ability, get into that team and make the difference. There's no a massive gulf. I mean, that's a game we should have won in that cup final. It's a Stonewall penalty we were denied. That was our cup. So I chalk that off as a win, personally.
Well, talking about a win, Smurf, right? If you just hit mute, you can get the Super 6. Hi, welcome to Southside Super 6 for the 21st of December. The first selection this weekend is Brentford and Nottingham Forest over 2.5 goals. The second selection is Ipswich and Newcastle over 2.5 goals. The third selection is Harrogate against Walsall over 2.5 goals. The fourth selection is Middlesbrough to beat Plymouth away from home. The fifth selection is Blackpool to beat Stevenage. And the sixth selection is Blackburn to beat Millwall away from home. If you take all six, it pays 46.5 to win. Hi.
Why don't you give us a call on 0141 356 1972? It's your show, it's your platform. Let's hear from you.
So, being a tipster outside, what's the odds on Rangers getting a penalty tomorrow?
Need to wait and see who the referee is, wouldn't we? Well, no, there'll be no show. I'll just tell people and I'll remind people there'll not be a show tomorrow because everybody at RangersRadio has gone to the game tomorrow, and then we've got the Christmas night out. So we'll be back on Monday. So there'll only be a pre-show and after-show tomorrow after the game. So need to get this cooped up because it's going to be a long night, and Fox isn't signing much after expenses. Alberry's no gain as much, but it looks it.
No. £50 a head's not going to go for, is it? That's no good.
I think that was between two, I think you said, no?
Two what?
Two people was getting 50 quid each. Was the each? Okay, was the each?
I think the VAR team get paid more.
one way or another, aye.
Well, he showed us the price of the hospitality box, so that's enough. And then we're going to have a Christmas night out, so there'll only be a show tomorrow because everybody's going to the game. So, Smurf, that's what we're looking forward to tomorrow. Going to Ibrox, it's been a week since the cup final, just about, and we want to get back to Ibrox, and it's like I say, 125 year tomorrow, and just get the 3 points and a win and stick it up at Tony Docherty, because I don't have much love for him.
Absolutely, it's a poignant sort of day in our history, and it's on the back of we know what it's on the back of. So get back to winning ways in front of our own, in our own iconic stadium, and if you can't rise to the occasion for that, you've no business being in the club. But I think we'll run out well worthy winners tomorrow, and I think it'll be with a decent margin as well. Full of confidence, and I don't see any issues.
Aye, I just had a video sent for GB showing me the entertainment for tomorrow night, so that looks no bad, Albert.
Aye, big Alex stripping. That's going to be something to see. Aye, Saturday's game. I'm looking for. We're playing well. I'm looking forward to. We're playing well. The team's playing well, and I think if we get about it, I don't see a problem at all, mate. Not a problem. It won't be easy, of course. It'll no. I mean, he'll have them running about crazy like most people, but we're definitely playing well. I don't fear MD anymore, mate. It's not at the beginning of the season that you're sitting going, "Oh, who's turning up? Who's getting that?" I just fear the officials. That's what I fear, mate. To be honest with you, it's a case of we're playing well and we're scoring goals, and the goals are coming from all different places now. That's a good sign. You know what I mean? It's one of these situations where we've made a bit of improvement. Let's keep it going and let's get better. And I don't see any problem. Why not?
Aye, you've got that sort of better heat sort of in your heat going to Ibrox. I mean, I always think we can win at Ibrox anyway. I never doubt it. But you're going and you're looking forward to the game tomorrow, AK, and we're looking at it thinking, listen, we should be able to score a few goals today.
Aye, you should be. Aye, definitely. That's the mentality the players should have. The supporters have got that. We've got to spring in this step a wee bit again, going back to Ibrox every home game. We're expecting again. We're not just hoping that we're scoring goals, we're expecting them. We're expecting we're scoring multiple goals because the last six games now, I think, what are we, plus 17 or something in goals. So all the stats are there. All the recent stats are there. There's been a big improvement on the kind of shots at goal, possession, shots on target, goals going in. Everything is in our favour now. Had a wee look at some stats before we came on there. We've won our last 18 games at Ibrox against Dundee. In our last 14 games against Dundee, we've recorded 12 wins and we've two draws, both up there. So we've got to beat Dundee. We shouldn't be fearing Dundee anyway. And it's just a good game for us, I would say, to get back to put 3 points on the board, because we could step above Aberdeen tomorrow, and that's us drew them in, and then we look above again. So it's one game at a time. Bridgeman says next game's the most important game, and it is. So it's just focus on the next game, 3 points, and go again. And that's that tomorrow gives us an opportunity to do that.
12 wins and a lost email. We're doing well.
Aye, that was the same. that guy couldn't send the email. He was a guy that was involved back when McCoist asked. When McCoist asked to name them, the three people that went against us for something. I can't remember. It'll come back to me. But he was one of them. He was a guy that didn't send email. The owner, John, whatever. It wasn't him. It was the other guy. Eventually, his name came out. I can't remember what it was about, but McCoy's pulled him for it. It'll come back to me. I was going to say to you,
that guy McClellan or something?
No. He was at Rafe Rovers. I'm sure he was at Rafe Rovers at the time. He made a decision. Something to do with us when we were doing the leagues. And we asked the name of freedom. And his name came out. And then he moved on to Dundee. And then he couldn't send an email to Hampden. So, not bad. Wee Bud Johnston was 78 years yesterday, Albert.
Some gone that. I never thought he was that age, honestly.
What's your memories of wee Bud?
Oh, brilliant player. Speed, mate, speed. Fiery wee character. A lot of it was unjustified, his red cards as well, so I don't remember him too much about the red cards, but he was definitely a brilliant player, terrific player, mate. Fast, skillful. He liked to hit the ball by people and just burn them, mate. It was some ton of speed, to be honest. He's a brilliant player. I don't know what age is Colin Steiner. Like, is he around about the same age as well?
I think Colin's 76.
76.
The two of them are actually doing a night right now at Oswald's in Glasgow. So I seen a wee flyer for that. So aye, man.
They're a comedy duo, weren't they? They're a comedy duo, weren't they?
Brilliant together.
Aye, some player, but wee Willie, some player, absolutely excellent player. You remember the carry on with Scotland as well? Totally out of order what happened to him there. But Aye. Try to think. The sitting in the ball. Remember sitting in the ball? At Parkhead, that was brilliant. He get slaughtered for that one and all, but it was brilliant. Everybody loved him.
Aye, I can remember him. I'm sure he played in the old Tennant Caledonian Cups that we used to have at Ibrox. I remember seeing him in that, and then he was sent off against Aberdeen, if you remember, Albert, right in front of the dugouts. Allegedly, he stood on McMaster's throat.
That's right, aye. Which he didn't.
I think he did actually.
Aye, no, he's gone for his eyes.
He stumbled. He stumbled. He stumbled. That way you stumble, Smurf, and you need to pick your foot down somewhere.
You've got
to push it. I mean, gravity dictates that. I mean, you can't hold it against a man.
No, 2 goals in Barcelona. Man's a legend. AK.
Aye, sure is. Before my time, but my dad speaks to him, and obviously I've seen the footage, but it's just the coolness. Him scoring the goals that he slot him away. You know, it comes out the sky with Peter McCoy, and it hardly takes a bounce, instant control, and then he just strokes it by the keeper. But Collinstein's goal that night was superb as well. And he's seen the goals. He said it was instinct. I just seen the goals and I lashed it right in the top corner. What a night. Aye, Rangers royalty to them. Happy birthday, bud.
That's the thing. We've had really good wingers over the years, you know. Smurf, you know. I liked Mark Walters when he came. I thought he was skillful. He could score goals. Step out, double shuffle. Couple of times, I can remember a couple of times, like all wingers, he was stinking a couple of times in games at Rangers, you know. But over the piece, I thought he contributed. He was one of my favourite wingers when he came. I thought he was really good for us in that time spell he was here.
Oh, aye, he was a fabulous player, and he had that wee step over thing he did, wasn't it? And it was like the only trick he had, and everybody knew it was going to do, and it's still skint whoever it was that was in front of him. And then we obviously moved on to Liverpool. Graham Souness took him to Liverpool. Aston Villa, I think he came for, wasn't it? No, he's a fantastic player, and as you say, we were famous for wingers. You know, through the 60s, 70s, Willie Henderson. All the way through, you've got Cooper. You mentioned Bud Johnson. A great tradition of wingers. And we've been blessed. But as you say, the Mark Walters, and he got a torrid time when he first came, didn't he? And, you know, with the racism and all that. Rangers, you know, he suffered a bit, but obviously he answered these critics in the correct manner. He was a great player for Rangers.
Aye, certainly. Remember his debut up there against them, dressed in their monkey suits and flinging all sorts at them. Things that they probably want to try and forget, but we know that's what went on. Hearts were guilty at an all. Remember at Tynecastle, they were at an all with him. And Dundee United.
Well, see, Parkhead, I'm not so sure they were suits, you know that.
Aye, well, that's true. But he got torrents that day. And as it turned out, when you watched him for the time he was here, Albert, he done damage to the 3 teams after that. You know, he scored against them many a time. He scored against Dundee United. I remember he scored a cracking goal up at Tydeiss. He must have been about 4 or 5 of them, and he just smashed it in the top corner. And Hearts, when he set him with a dummy in the halfway line, done the wee back heel. But he used to score against Hearts regular, Dundee United and them. And I think they were the 3 clubs that I remember that gave him all the abuse, you know, when he first came in. Scottish football.
He done it the right way. The team they've got today should learn for that. He done it the right way. He destroyed them on the park, scoring goals, setting up goals. You know what I mean? They were giving him, as Smurf said, dog's abuse. But he just went, we'll teach you a lesson, by the way. And he certainly did. He's a terrific player.
My dad's favourite player, he raves about, for the 60s, was a guy called Davy Wilson.
Davy Wilson, right?
And he said he was phenomenal. The amount of goals he scored for a winger was incredible. And he talks about a game, I think it was for Scotland. I think Caldo got his leg broke. And he ran the line, the whole, up and down that line, fall back and carry the ball, So he's a phenomenal player. So we've a great legacy and a tradition of wingers. And then, my sort of era was Cooper, no pace, one footed and that, but just a wizard, just a genius. And maybe he wasn't even a winger, I think today maybe be playing as a number 10, fabulous player.
You mentioned wee Willie Henderson, he still does his hospitality at Ibrox to this day. Very, very, in my opinion, he doesn't get enough recognition at Ibrox for the support. I'm not talking about for the club, I'm talking about support. Even Scottish football, mate. What a winger, man. He was superb. Absolutely superb. Him and Bax, there's only 2 players in Scottish history who get picked for a World 11 twice. Twice, mate.
Unbelievable.
I seen wee Willie Henderson over there a few weeks ago. I was invited in.
Did you ever? You never seen him live, did you?
No. I go to.
What a winger! No. Honestly, what a winger!
I mean, he came into the hospitality. I was invited to one of the hospitality boxes for one of the games a few weeks back, and I went and he came in and obviously tells a few stories and all that. And he still does that up there, cracking wee guy. I love to have seen him, but everybody talks highly of him anyway. Outstanding winger.
Oh, he was. And that's when they had that other wee clown, that wee drunk Johnson. They had him. Henderson's a far superior winger to him. Far superior. But usual, he gets the headlines. He never get picked for a World 11. Tell you that.
I know, when you think back to some of them, when you think back to wee Calamero, wee Tommy McLean, you could get totally different, could you? He was just give me the ball and I'll just stick it right in there. And Big Derek or Parr Lane or whoever would just stick their head right on it.
Bobby McKean, no?
Bobby McKean, aye. Bobby McKean, remember seeing him.
George in person.
Brian Laudrup was just a different level, wasn't it? When he turned up, AK.
Laudrup was a genius. An absolute genius. It was just a pleasure to watch. He could take a full defence on himself, but he was also clever enough when he had 2-3 men run about him just to dink it inside for maybe Gascoigne or that to run onto it. But with some great players back in the days, wee Durant, him and David Robertson, Laudrup and David Robertson had a right good partnership down the left wing as well. But with some great players there, but. Could you imagine us with a front end with Ted McMinn and Dessers?
I was going to say that. Ted McMinn could take a whole defence on and half of the Paisley Road as well. He was brilliant.
We would have some laugh.
Big Ted didn't know what he was doing, but he was brilliant to watch. Absolutely brilliant to watch.
His game against him, remember Derek White? Derek White, he absolutely terrorised him. He was getting raved about. Great left back and all that. He was about 18. Big Ted came in, played at Queen of the South, and came in and was kicking the ball around him and running by him. And he was unbelievable. Big Ted that day. It's just like, where's he came from? You know what I mean? Was he doing this at Queen of the South?
Did he not score for a corner kick in one of his first games? I think he did. Remember that.
You're probably right. I don't remember it, but you're probably right.
I'm pretty sure it sticks vivid in my memory. Jock Wallace brought him in, minute, and then, in fact, when Wallace left, he went to Seville. Was it Seville he went in Spain? It was Seville, wasn't it?
Mm-hmm.
And he took Ted McMinn with him, didn't he?
Big Ted.
He did.
Big Ted was something else, wasn't he? Just totally something that you'd never seen before. He just didn't know what he was going to do, but listen, he had nice skill and all that. Scored in semi-finals. I'm sure he scored a cracker against Dundee United in the semi-final at Hampden. It took us to the final. Big Ted. But I remember that game. I think it was his first game against them. And Derek White absolutely got battered that day, and he was the guy they were all talking about. And that was Big Ted on the scene. Once you have a good game against them and that, and you beat them, and it puts you on the map. Done it all, Bear.
Oh, Ted was brilliant. He's skillful, by the way. We're laughing, but he was skillful. He was a really good player. But Butcher tells the story that he goes up the wing at Ibrox. I remember I was at the game. He must have been about 3-4 players brilliantly going up the wing, gets to the byline, goes to cross the ball, kicks a divot out the size of a fireside rug, and falls over. And Butcher says, I was just falling about laughing watching him. He says, you can't believe what Ted could do. He said he could beat anybody. I'll tell you right now, he could beat any defender at any quality at any time. You just never knew he was going to do it. It's some skill, real good player.
Aye, I think it was Dumbarton, Smurf at Boghead in his debut. He scored direct for the corner. But aye. Great, he was a great winger. I like Peter Houstra was alright and all. Sometimes you go and get foreign wingers and stuff, no. You're always a bit wary, but Peter Houstra came in and he done pretty well for his time when he was at Rangers as well. Scored away against Bruges, got us a 1-each draw. Should have battered him that night.
Even Neil McCann.
Neil McCann was good.
Very good player. And although he was slightly built, it was deceptive. He was wiry. He was a hardy guy. He's a strong wee guy. Fantastic. A very, very good player. And he played really good. You can tell he was a really good player because he played in a team full of really, really, really good players. And they were spending money, so he could easily replace them. No, he was a very good player.
Lovenkrands, he played in the wing. He wasn't a winger. He played for us about 2 years before he tells somebody, I'm better through the middle. We started playing him through the middle. He scoring goals for fun. While you're like, what the
Spain. Was it Valencia?
Villarreal. Scored against Villarreal when we're going into the last 16. It was the last 16 away. He scored. It was 1-each. Big boy missed one just round the post. He was just on the park a few minutes and he still would have won that night.
They hated him. He always scored against them. They hated him.
Aye, he got attacked up between me and all. Aye, believe it or not. Didn't want to sort of put it on the papers and stuff, but he got attacked. He was in Glasgow one night. But he was an good player and scored big goals in big games. And when you've got wingers, you want them to contribute and score goals. When you look at some of them that have graced, that's the ones that have all graced Ibrox. When it's going to be an 25-year-old tomorrow. And all the players we've talked about, and there's many more, but just as we're talking about wingers, they've all graced the old and the new Ibrox.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Absolutely, mate. I'm thinking about Ibrox. Remember that Ibrox you used to be able to walk right round it? From one side to the other?
Aye. Mm-hmm.
Used to watch Rangers shooting in at one goal and then move round to the other goal after half time. You're a boy.
There's boys that came from humble beginnings and all, Bobby Russell coming from playing junior football.
Shelton
Junior, straight right into that Rangers first team. I mean, unbelievable. Really. I think he won a treble and all, didn't he, in the first year?
There's a lot of part-time players played for Rangers, I know.
78 then.
The wee Prime Minister was a part-time player.
Aye, Ian McMillan.
Aye, then I remember when we started, if you remember back when Scottish football, I think we broke the record at the time, 210,000 for Craig Patterson. Because at that time players weren't getting a lot of money. Most of them were getting about £400, £300. I think the highest at Ibrox was 500 quid. But I remember when we bought Ian Redford and all, he was 210,000 when we bought him for Dundee. Colin McAdam, we paid 160,000 for him when we bought him, and we done the deal with Ian Ferguson and Cammy Fraser. I think one was 225 and one was 165, wasn't it? Aye, he scored 9 goals at Dundee, and then we eventually played him at left back and that left midfield.
His first game for Rangers, left back. We say it was Greg, you know. Greg that signed him. We turned around and said, we just signed the top scorer in Scotland, and we're playing him at left back. This is some team we're building this. Aye.
Aye, well, he was,
look at the prices then.
He was deaf in 1 year for the captain. No try to. By the way, this isn't me being a cheap joke or anything. The man was deaf in 1 year, and I'm saying he kept it quiet because he didn't want to be, ridiculed or jeopardise his career or anything like that. But he was deaf in 1 year.
Aye, Davy Cook was 100 grand and all. And the one I think that we probably could have kept back then when he left, because I remember when he left and then we Stuart Monroe came in, we bought him for 30,000, I think, for Alva. When Big John McClellan was there, Albert, he wanted 500 because Jimmy Nick was there and he was getting 500. The Rangers won the game. And ended up with left.
Big McClellan he was a rare player, Big McClellan.
Right.
He was a good player.
He was good. Played the left-hand side or centre back at times, no, but he was good.
I saw him play centre forward against Milan. I think Rummenigge.
Milan. Nice. I was at Ibrox, wasn't it? You remember that night? That was
Aye.
the night that.
I remember that
Fitz was playing that night, wasn't he?
Was it 3-1 or 3-2 that night? 3-1 we won.
Aye, what a game.
We get beat over there. Liam Brady played for them that night.
That's right.
Mm-hmm.
So he did. And I've got to say, he was sublime. He was ran a show. But, I mean, I think Ian Ferguson, did he score for us?
Aye, he scored. Aye, he did.
Aye, one for Dundee.
Aye.
We lined up that night. We lined up with 7 across the halfway line. We were kicking off, and we had 7 across the. It was Jock Wallace. Milan looked up and gave it all that. What's happening here? And we just went for it that night. But we were brilliant that night. Absolutely brilliant. And they had some team, by the way. Rummenigge, Brady. Some team.
Altabelli, I think he played and all.
Mm-hmm.
The team that I remember I thought was star-studded when they played was the Juventus team that we beat. Gordon Smith and me, Doddy scoring 2-0 at Ibrox. We played in the All Blue. The Copeland Road was getting done up. And that team had 9 internationals, an Italian team playing in it. And the other one I thought impressed me was that Mario Kempes for Valencia when he came to Ibrox. He went on and won the World Cup with Argentina, Albert. Scored a hat-trick against us. Mario Kempes.
Kempes. He was a brilliant player. I was at that game that night. Valencia, they were lightning fast. They were the fastest team to the halfway line I'd ever seen. They were lightning fast. They were a great team. He scored the hat-trick, Big Kempes. That was the World Cup you stayed up half a night to see, wasn't it?
Riquelme when he came in off for Villarreal. He was some player and all. You know.
Right.
It's amazing.
He was, buddy.
Do any of you remember a pre-season friendly when Wallace came to Ibrox for us after leaving Leicester? Well, we came from one of them, didn't we? But he'd been at Leicester and we played a pre-season friendly against Leicester City in the mid-80s. Any of you remember that game? I think
we'll need to leave it because Fox is giving it time up. We've got to that time, Smurf.
Time, gentlemen, please. You've had a nice night now. Come on. Drink up.
That's it. We've got a game to go to tomorrow and then have a Christmas night out, so it's going to be a long day. Fox needs his sleep.
Well.
Anyway, Smurf, what would you like to say before we go, mate?
Well, firstly, I think we're going to do a cricket score tomorrow. I'm going 4-5 Rangers. I really feel that. And secondly, I'd like to wish you all a very Merry Christmas and a prosperous New Year, and enjoy your Rangers Radio night out tomorrow. Good night.
Cheers, Smurf.
Cheers, mate.
AK.
Cheers, Smurf. Same to yourself, mate. You and yours. It's been a good night, pal. I enjoyed that wee trip down memory lane there for people out there. We've all got a range story to tell about Ibrox, our favourite games, our favourite players, memories, going to games with our pals and all that. But it draws you in. Once you go to a game, that's you. You're hooked for life. And that's the way it is. But no, I enjoyed the night, mate. Well done yourself, Albert. Looking forward to the game tomorrow. I would say, a 4-5-0 win suits me fine to Smurf. But everybody, all the best for Christmas and Happy New Year when it comes as well, if we don't speak before. Cheers, mate.
Cheers, AK. Albert.
Good to know yourself and Alec. Fox and Tell. It was a good night, good discussion, mate. But Rangers tomorrow. That's the game. 5-0 for me, mate.
Better in. I'll take that myself. No, I'd like to thank Smurf and Old Davey for coming on and joining us this evening. It's always appreciated when people phone up and come in and join us. And also you two guys for helping us all night. I appreciate it. It's been great to do a show with the two of you. And thanks for all your help. To Fox and Old School Blue. I'd like to thank them and all for doing the technicals in the background, and everybody else that's listened in this evening. I hope you've enjoyed it. We will only be back until Monday night. We're doing a show on Monday before we stop for Christmas. So there won't be a show tomorrow due to everybody going to Ibrox and going on the Christmas night out. But hopefully we'll see you all back here on Monday night. I think everybody involved in the show is going to be on Monday night if they're available. So we'll see you on Monday at 8 o'clock. And as always, Ibrox tomorrow, 125 years, and it's all about the Rangers tomorrow. So hopefully we'll get the points, 3 points, and take us on to the next game. So as always, there's only one team and one crown. Take it away, Fox.